So I'm a very typical, I say this in all my videos, I come from a very typical Puerto Rican family, lots and lots of children, there were 6 of us. We were born and raised in Gary, Indiana, and actually it was the steel mill that brought my family into Indiana for gainful employment from my dad, who came from Puerto Rico, and my mom, and they met while they were here actually. And so I have a pretty typical, very loving background. Actually, no one in my family has had anything to do with construction, and I didn't even know until I was in my late 20s that I was really handy. So Mom thought I should go work in an office somewhere and get a steady job that I would work forever, and that wasn't the plan for my life. So it's been an incredible journey and a whole lot of fun. I am a huge advocate, a proponent, absolutely, for living a life that's incredibly passionate. And so for me, I am passionate about women. I'm passionate about helping women. I'm passionate about women's rights. And so one of the ways that I obviously walk this walk is that I specifically hire women. I specifically look for women that are in need, who maybe are not sure about what they're passionate about, and try to help them sort of navigate to that place. Here's the thing, sort of like our DNA, we're all unique. You know, women are such incredible creatures, one of the reasons that I love them. And so even if I'm sitting next to 10 other women who are also passionate about women, the area for which our passion is drawn from with women is still going to be different. And so here's a wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate this sort of uniqueness. Now here's the thing, when I have a woman who's coming to work with me and she has no idea what she's passionate about, I tell her the same thing. There are easy ways that you can scope out what you're passionate about. Generally speaking, it's associated with things that you're already good at. Some women are just naturally good at, let's say, colors, or putting together outfits. Some women are naturally more compassionate. Maybe they work very well with animals. It's the, the thing that we're passionate is generally intertwined in our DNA. It's that part of you that you could never separate yourself from, no matter what. It defines who you are. So if you're still confused about what you're passionate about, then there are ways that ways that you can assess things that are going on in your life, so that you can start to filter through. For example, what do I naturally just enjoy doing? What would I do? It's like that old question, but it really does apply. What would I do if I could do it the rest of my life, but really not get paid for it? That really does, that sort of thing matters. And then you have to be able to filter out I could never get a job in that. So it's important for you to go in knowing, I need to just be able to write some things down, and I can't put a value on those things that I'm writing down. So I can't say, well, this sounds far-fetched. No. You start by just saying, okay, here's this piece of paper, and I'm going to start to evaluate myself in a way that I never have before. So the first thing I'm going to say is, all right, number one, what is it that I would do for the rest of my life, even if I couldn't get paid any money for it? Well, for me, that would be mentoring. So I would say mentoring women. Then, number two, what is it that I think that I can bring to the table? Okay, well, I think that, maybe what I'm good at is understanding what the definitions of passion are, so on and so forth. And the last thing is, I try to make the women who come to me understand that it is impossible for us to make an impact in the world unless we're passionate about something. Because everything new becomes old. Whether it's your home, a car, let's face it, marriage, children, everything becomes taxing and hard. And about the only thing that doesn't is the thing that drives you. It's that thing that you want to wake up for every day. For some people, it's baking, and so they start a baking business. And while everything else may seem to be, frustrating in life, or this thing isn't going well, or this thing isn't going well, if I go back to baking, I just kind of find this center in me. For me, that's how it is, just being around women. I want to be around women. I want to be able to talk to women. So when I'm having a rough day, I'm frustrated with the business, I've got a client who's incredibly high maintenance, the thing that brings me back to my center are the girls that work with me. Asking them, how are you? How's life? how are the kids, how's the family, what are we working on? So you got to be able to ask yourself, when you're looking for the thing in you that's passionate, what is it that I simply love to do? Then find somebody who's already doing that thing that you simply love to do. You won't do it the same way. I just talked about that a second ago. You won't do it the same way, but it's a good start. If they've written books, read their books. If they're have a social media, follow them on social media. Why? Because you want to start opening your mind, start jogging, the memory, start thinking about some of the things that you can do that will inspire you. These are the ways that you find your passion. And I want to end by saying this on this note. Don't walk one more day without knowing what you're passionate about, because life is too short. These are the areas of the life where they're going to create the deepest, best memories. And this is the only way that you're going to live the best life, is when you live a passionate one. And I'm passionate about that. When I'm encouraging women and I'm encouraging people to give back, one of the things that I try to really get them to understand it, and I don't mean understand from a surface level, but from the depth of their heart, is that when you tie every dollar to a person's life, that dollar becomes infinitely so much more. When you look at the face of this woman who has been on drugs, or she's been in prison and she's hurting, and you see a change in her life because of something that you've done, you're never the same. Giving back it's as much about changing you as it ever is about changing them. I've said this a million times. I'm a better person today than I ever was 10 years ago. Not because of what I've experienced, but because of what I've witnessed through the genuine love of the people whose lives I've helped shape. Not the trophies, not the interviews, not the success, certainly not the money has changed me in 10 years. Fundamentally, my life has been changed watching these women's lives evolve. It is amazing to me that sometimes a woman, even in 2015, just needs to be told, you can. It's okay, you can. You can do it. You can reach for the stars. You can. And when you tie your the dollars that you've earned and you give them back to somebody who hasn't had the opportunity that you do, it's essentially saying, come alongside me. Walk this journey with me. And so it's more than just about giving the dollar. I mean, sometimes when we write a check, for us it's just this quick 5-minute task. But the impact that happens not just in these women's lives, but in these women's families' lives, in these women's friends' lives, in these women's children's lives, they're forever changed. And it's so pure and it's so beautiful. And if you see it one time, you could never go back to living a selfish life. You just can't. We all have an incredible opportunity to give. And some of us give, the best way for us to give is by a check. And for some of us, the best way to give is to actually spend a little bit of our time. But the best way to give is a little bit of both. Because it only takes you to see one life being changed, and it touches you in the depth of your soul so deeply that, like I said, you're forever moved, you're forever different. And it's amazing how much passion you can have for someone that you don't even know, you didn't know yesterday. And then all of a sudden, your heart is just full of them and their families, and you want to be a part of their life. It's incredible, and that's the message that I want to send more than anything else today.